guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, I'm going to go over an email that was sent from a subscriber. This from a guy, sounds like he's in his mid-30s, and he shares his story about how he, like a lot of young guys out there, made the foolish mistake of getting married too young. But in this guy's situation, he came from extremely religious background, family, community, all that. So this was encouraged, and because he didn't have anybody to give him the right advice, married young, no money, all that, to a gal he thought was traditional and just like him and thought was pure. And they get married, and you're going to see it just turns into a total mess. And ultimately, he's going to kick her to the curb after, guess what, discovers not only was she cheating on him and wanting a polyamorous relationship, but also the fact that she wasn't pure when they got married like he thought. Faked the whole thing. And of course, he didn't know what to look for that wedding night. I'll be very good one to go over here, guys, to show you that, number one, you can't rush into relationships, let alone marriages. You need to think for yourself and do what's best for you, even though it can be very tough with pressure from family and community and all that, especially religious ones, as well as you have to do your homework on your girl. And, of course, if they're bringing up the polyamory thing, open relationship thing, they're obviously cheating, and you're going to see in the situation. And in spite of making mistakes when you're young, you guys can start over, turn your life around, and make it a lot more pleasant thing for you, as this guy's doing right now. So for all you guys out there that maybe you're in a bad marriage, bad relationship, and you're having big regrets, and you have good reason to end it, really consider it, because life is short. You got to take care of yourself. After everything is exhausted and you're trying to make things work and just nothing's there, or if you find out something really bad behind the scenes, it's best to cut ties and move on. I will not back down from my opinion on that. He says, hello SSM. My name is John, fake name of course. I want to tell you my experience, that simply because a woman follows her faith and traditions does not mean it's all good in a marriage. I was born in another country, and when I was 12 years old, my family immigrated to the U.S. in 2003. Our immigration was to the state of California. We were a Christian, and he says in parentheses, cult family, where purity and waiting until marriage is a must. Also, starting teenage years, you have to have some service in church. So I became a sound guy at the age of 13. That's how I met my quote-unquote first love. He says, yeah, smack. I was one of the guys in the interwebs helping people with church equipment, and this girl had a question about violin sound pickup. I was able to help with that, and our chats didn't end there. At that time, I was 16 years old, and she was 15. Let us call her Julia. She was also an immigrant, and we shared more than just English and Russian language in common. We didn't meet until she just turned 18. And at that time for me, it was someone who was willing to speak to me outside of required proximity at work or church. Okay, so you definitely were in a very strict environment. I did everything I could to buy myself a car so I could see Julia over and over. I was in love. And at 19, yeah, I know, smack. I saved up enough money to get a good running car that my uncle had at his shop, and the previous owner didn't want to pay the bill for repairs. So here I was, working as a door-to-door vacuum cleaner salesman, barely making any money at all, and trying to get chances to see her. So obviously this was a long time ago. He said, yeah, smack. I changed my job and became a security guard, where my pay was a little better at the time, and was able to see her 1 to 2 times a week. And that was mostly due to the fact that she was living about 25 miles away, and me being 19, 20 years old, it was a big distance at the time. Bro, aren't there any other girls? Really? But we've all been there, guys, and we had that crush we were obsessed with when we were teenagers and all that, most of us. Since we were both in Christian families, our families pushed us to get married or split up because they didn't want us to risk sinning. And yes, we were both virgins, or so I thought. And both of our families want us to stay that way until marriage. You're both legal adults in the United States now. In my opinion, it's none of your family's business. At age of 20, and Julie being 19, I started thinking about proposing. So I spoke to Julie's dad, and at first he said, talk to her mom. And I declined that and said, no, you are her father. You are the person I have to speak about. Oh yeah, by the way, getting married at 19, smack. Let's be honest, all because you wanted to get some pussy. He teared up. Usually he was always quiet and never had any control in the house. Smack to her dad. He should be the one leading the house, not the mom. How'd that work out for him? So that show respect to him broke him down. After that, I got a nice looking $50 ring and was getting ready to propose. I know, smack. Yeah, smack. But you know what? I take back the smack for giving her a $50 ring. Thank God you didn't slave yourself away to get a $5,000 ring. $50, okay. I proposed to Julie in front of our parents at the restaurant. That was the most cost-effective way to respect parents in my view at the time. Julie was ecstatic, and that was the first time I kissed her after we walked a little bit away from our parents where they did not see us. If they knew about that, we would have been in trouble. Oh, for goodness sake. Okay, obviously super strict environment, super strict religion, all that. But again, you were a grown-ass adult. And here's the thing, was this the religion, was the religion, wait, is this something you wanted to follow? Did you accept the rules, if you will, of this faith? So we started to get things ready for the wedding. I was broke, and so was Julia, and Julia was also getting more and more student loan debt from her medical office administration degree. And yes, that degree became useless a year after she graduated. Shocker. Oh yeah, how dumb is that? Get married and you're totally broke? How about you spend a number of years, at least she graduates and has a job, and you have a job, and you have money saved up and all that? I mean, at the end of the day, we all know why you're doing this. You're rushing in for the pussy. That's nuts. At the time, I was pulling all my connections in church to get things going for me. I got a free reception hall from church since I was doing sound and security services for church. I also got a free sound guy, a video guy, and yes, they are my colleagues in church, and I did return the favor to them later on. I was also able to get 50% off on a limo and 25% off on food for reception. I pretty much did everything I could to get this right. Wow, I like your wheeling and dealing abilities, man. You're better off, instead of being in security, at being a businessman. You know? Your skills are, you've got good skills at a young age. We spent about $10,000 on the wedding with over 500 people attending. Yes, we had to invite everyone in our family who were able to come. At the age of 21 and Julie 20 years old, we got married. Yeah, smack. When we got to our apartment from the reception, we were super tired, and even though we were sober, we felt that we were exhausted. But we still wanted our first night, and yes, at that night, without me knowing, she pretended to be in pain to make me think she was a virgin. Not having any experience was just horrible. It was underwhelming and awkward. That is how the first time goes. Underwhelming and awkward. We've all been there. But the majority of us didn't wait to get married to do that. Fast forward 2 years, we were not able to make enough money with my job to pay for our basic living, and we got evicted. But we did not want to tell anything to our relatives because it was a huge shame for us. I don't blame you for feeling embarrassed, but what's the other option? Living in your car? This is why you wait till you're older to get married. To establish yourself in your career, that at least you can make enough to cover your expenses. And have money saved up for emergencies that are going to happen. We're always told that we need to keep our credit score good and be able to pay for everything with credit cards. Well, we failed. We moved to a campground that we had an option for work camping. I could do 4 hours of work and stay for the night. So that's what I did. I'm sure she loved this. At this point, she's thinking, man, I should have married somebody else. Even though she was just as guilty. And oh, by the way, lied to you about her past. Julia still went to town daily to her job that now did not require her degree anymore and became minimum wage level before she got into the job. Then I found a job as a non-CDL truck driver, so I took it. Our relatives eventually found out that we moved and went nuts because of that. That's when Julia joined me in our trucking adventures. Prior and during trucking life, I did a little bit of manual work or workout every few days. However, Julia stopped doing any physical loads about 1.5 years into our marriage, so she started to gain weight. Here we go with the stereotype. Now, guys, when you get to your 20s, as I discovered at 23 years old, you can't, it's not like the teenage years when you can just eat mountains of food and crap and never gain an ounce. I mean, eventually you will gain weight, but when I was 23, definitely by 25, I noticed I couldn't eat like I used to before. And so a lot of people start porking up then. Also, she has you, ring on her finger. Why does she have to do anything? While we were trucking, I did 10 to 20 minute runs around the truck, stops, push-ups, pull-ups in the trailer, and so on. Julie refused to join me. 7.5 years later, I was getting less and less attracted to her, but I was forcing myself to show her love and attention just like a good husband should, for better or worse, in sickness and health. Yeah, well, that doesn't include blowing up to look like the Goodyear blimp. I took that literally, even when it was caused by herself. Julie was saying things like, it's hormonal, and so on. I went with it because I thought that's what it is. At the end of 2018, we moved out of California to a more tax-friendly and self-defense-friendly state. Little did I know how good the choice was. Yeah, getting out of California certainly was a good choice for multiple reasons here. We settled down in 2021 from trucking life and got a roommate who was from another crazy Christian family. She was trying to run away. Let's call her Lola. At the time, she was 32, and surprise, never in her life had she any serious relations. An actual virgin, I actually believed her. Well, she was just a roommate who was not part of the story, almost. Bro, you're a married couple, and even though you shouldn't have got married so young, and certainly shouldn't be with this gal because obviously how she behaves, you're taking on a roommate. I get if you're desperate for money and all that, but still. I rejoined a security industry and was quite good at it. Lola and Julia at the time joined the same company. At this time, it's so short on people that companies don't care about marriages between subordinates and supervisors. Yes, I was a corporal, and Julia and Lola were private ranks. I was the one giving the orders and was their backup in case of an emergency. Lola joined to be able to learn how to be somewhat independent and see the real world and the ugly side of it. She never had a chance to have her own room, her own responsibilities, and her own decisions to make. Before that, it was all done by her dad and stepmom. Her mom died when she was in her early 20s from cancer. She had to hold a family of 11 kids together before stepmom showed up. Holy crap. Fast forward to April 2022. I had a talk with Julia that I want her to join me running in the mornings or evenings. Julia did not say no and did not say yes. I explained that I need to be attracted to her, and I missed when she was 130 pounds at 5'6". And now she was 290 pounds. Holy shit. Holy Jabba the Hutt. 5'6", 290. God damn. Join you for some runs, more like she can just roll around the parking lot. God damn, dude. You just push her. You run through the parking lot just pushing her like a big log. You get your workout there. Oh my God. Hormonal. That's a lot of fucking Happy Meals. When we got married, I was 165 pounds at 6 feet tall, and now 180. She did not say anything and did not join me in any sports. I know smack for being a pussy in front of her. Yeah, smack. But I'm sure because the religious faith he grew up in and all that, you know, he's with her regardless of that. She took full advantage of it. I just don't get how anybody can knowingly look good one day, physically attractive, and just completely and intentionally throw it all away, you know, by just eating garbage and not taking care of it. I just don't get it, you know. If somebody truly has some disease or something like that's one thing, but clearly she was not helping herself. While we were busy at working things, I like to listen to podcasts and stories, especially yours. Well, if you listen to me, you know darn well how I feel about the issue. On one of the podcasts I listened to there was a discussion about virginity and how it's fairly easy to tell if a girl is a virgin or not. I actually stopped my patrol car on the side of the road and started Googling. This was a huge revelation for me. I started thinking of our first night and what was and was not there. I realized that she was not a virgin the first night. At the time, I decided not to confront her because it would not change anything just yet. Then in May of 2022, I was having trouble with a dash camera in our car. It was a type without an internal battery, so I had the clock be behind anywhere from half an hour to a few hours and a few times a day. I started to investigate the issues. I knew it might miss a few seconds when the car started due to voltage sag. Camera was hardwired to the car battery. So I rigged up a small separate battery that will prevent car starting issues. It did not help. So I copied all the data from my SD card and started looking at file names. What'd you discover? I noticed that instead of having 5 minutes for each file name, so files were larger times apart. So I tried to watch the files that were before the time gaps. Files were corrupted. So I got a software that was able to split the files into small parts to see if there is any video to see. I found the camera was physically unplugged and the file would get corrupted due to power loss. That put me in a huge mindfuck. I did hold myself back from making any accusations. Instead, I put an old Android phone under the dash with some special software running. What is going on? A few days later, when the car was at home and Julie was sleeping, I got notification that the phone was back online on Wi-Fi. I was able to retrieve any location the car was at. I noticed a street near one of her work sites was visited 3 times in 2 days. I started to suspect more and more. At this time, I knew that she was cheating. At 290 pounds at 5'6", well, there are dudes that are into very, very, very big girls. I quit my security job and became a local delivery driver for an electrical company. To Julia, I said that this job paid a bit more, and it did pay by $2 more per hour. While on one of my work trucks, I was able to verify vehicles parked on the same street and same spot over and over again. And yes, the dash camera was unplugged. I was able to get my boss to get me more pictures, just in case, so that if I am not the only one source of evidence. This was around late August of 2022, but now in September, I made up my mind and picked up a package for pro-se divorce without children. Also, thanks to that, I was listening to your channel since you had 15,000 subscribers. I had a good idea what to do. Well, bro, I'm glad I could help. And by the way, thank you for supporting me since I had 15,000 subscribers. Holy crap. That was a long time ago. I wish I could have gone scorched earth on her, but we did not own a home or had any large savings. Any savings I had, I would spend on ammo and put in my trailer that she never liked or looked at. In mid-September, Julia sent me a video from TED Talk about polyamory and all the good experiences people get out of it. So she's cheating on you, and I don't even want to imagine that. And now she's sending you videos on polyamory. TED Talk. How wonderful it is. Yeah. You watch my channel long enough, you know these things never work out and they're a disaster. And when a girl brings up open relationship, open marriage, polyamory, guess what? She's either planning on cheating or she's already been cheating, wants to justify it. Julia said it could work for our relationship. At that time, I knew this was all I needed, but I did not stop collecting data. I had a game camera, so I put it on a tree next to the spot Julia parked. When he says game, he meant like for hunting. I got loads of evidence of her making out with a guy that I was about to trespass from multiple properties for theft before I quit the security field. I filed all the divorce paperwork while keeping her in limbo on our marriage. When she got served, she sent me the papers and the picture, and all she texted was, "Okay." Well, there you go. Then days later, she would come during the day while I was at work and take her stuff and move out. Our roommate was shocked and did not understand what was going on. She was just sending me pictures of her carrying things out. I knew that she was smart enough not to do anything illegal or dumb, or she would have lost her security license and able to provide for herself. Dude, I mean, at least you don't have a house together or giant savings or investments, because she'd get half of that, or probably more, if you were in a no-fault divorce state. When I came home, I had all my personal items on the table, from documents to guns and clothes. I wasn't missing anything, and she even left the gun I bought her for her birthday years ago. Later, that's the only thing I gave her since it was a gift, and asked for it for work. The reason for that was to generate paperwork for ownership transfer, and she knew better. Also, there were a few texts from her at a later time asking if I would reconsider the divorce. I'm finally able to get rid of your fat ass. Think I'm going to take you back? No. I said, only if you tell me the truth. Was I your first? And she said no. And I said, this does not change my mind. We are still divorcing. Also, about a year later, I had a high school friend add me on Facebook. I decided to ask her, and she actually had pictures from an old flip phone, a 0.3 GP video of her getting plowed in the bathroom. I don't know why she kept it all this time, but I think there was some hate between them. Hell hath no fury. So this sweet and innocent, perfect gal that he thought he was marrying because of the religion and all that, turns out she was lying through her teeth, and she certainly was a carousel rider. And then they get married, and they rush into a marriage young, and then she's cheating on him, and she gains 230 freaking pounds or something like 260 pounds or something like that. And yeah, what a great thing. Fast forward to December 1st, we are divorced, and our court was only 7 to 8 minutes long. I didn't need any evidence as Julie agreed to the divorce. I got my stipulation divorce, and now I'm free. Hallelujah, you're free. Now don't make any stupid mistakes again. Meanwhile, our relatives did not know we were getting a divorce. Oh boy, I can only imagine the shitstorm. I kept it away from them because they would have flown in to prevent the divorce. I let my parents know on the 4th of December, and they told me that she told them to send us some stuff that we missed from our Russian stores. I got that shipment intercepted by the mail by rerouting mail to a neighbor's address. After my parents told Julie's parents what happened, they turned away from her. Now Julie is all on her own. Even Lola is moving to another state again just to be away from her. Lola always thought highly of Julia, but after one day, Julia was bragging about her cheating with her new lover. Lola lost all respect for Julia. Well, good for Lola. Later, I did 6 months of over-the-road trucking just to get away from paying bills and rent and get a reset. While I was in the truck, my friend allowed me to park my trailer on his land. Now I'm working for an energy delivery company, working with very dangerous things. Hey, I'm sure you're getting paid better, so that's good, and you're on your own, you're free. I'm now finally able to take care of myself health-wise. I moved to a tiny town where I'm making double of what me and her did combined in the private security industry. Wonderful. Double the income and from what both of you are making. The moral of the story is that it doesn't matter if you take a Christian and virgin girl. When they feel like it, they have it made and feel certainty, they stop working on retaining you. And if you show any weakness or less attention, they flake and they don't care about how they were raised. I don't know if there have been any updates, so we shall see. Thank you, SSM, for your videos that you post and help people like me to stand back up and move on to a better and simpler life. Hope to hear my story in one of your channels, and good luck. Well, bro, I'm sorry for what happened. I'm sorry that all those things, but you know what? The problem was you were young and dumb, but it's not like you had anybody good to give you some common sense advice, not getting married 21 years old with no money or a stable job or anything like that, amongst many other things, you know? I mean, but at the end of the day, what happened, you can't change that. But now you know, and your story will help somebody else out there. And I'm glad that you were already, it was getting old real quick, but then when you found she was cheating on you, you were done. And at least, you know, you didn't have a whole lot of assets that you lost because of it. And, you know, she agreed to the divorce. That made things a lot, because it could have gotten way worse. And of course, the polyamory thing. I'm just still trying to picture a 5'6" gal weighing as you around 290 pounds. I mean, holy crap. But, you know, to each their own, but there are dudes that are into very big gals, you know. But anyhow, and it goes to show you that guys, by and large, guys will pretty much F anything, so long as most of the time she's a certain weight or under a certain weight and has bathed or showered within that day, and none of their friends are going to find out. But anyhow, and I'm going to just stop now before I get myself in trouble. But anyhow, bro, you have a second chance, learn from your mistakes, and you have, and I wish you a great life. I'm glad you got a better job, you're taking care of yourself, good for you. That's all I can ask. And eventually, if you get in other relationships, you're probably saying, never again, SSM. Well, we'll see. Use all the things you've learned the hard way to help you not make the same mistakes again, as well as all things on this channel. Watch my channel every day, pick and choose the videos. Man, we're coming up on 3,000 videos between all three channels pretty soon. So you could spend years watching one video a day to keep you busy and keep you, you know, it's like an apple a day will keep the doctor away. Well, an SSM a day will keep the hoe bags away, or something like that. Anyhow, bro, good luck to you. All right, guys, that is it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. And be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time.